The PC versus console debate is one of the most discussed and interesting conversations to have in the world of video games. People have been going back and forth about it for over 40 years now, since the 1980s when PC gaming and home consoles became mainstream. Now, over that period of time, there's been a back and forth because PC and console gaming have both changed and evolved over time, that during different periods of history, you can make different arguments as to why PC was better than console or why console was better than PC. But now, over the past 10 years, the debate has not even been close. PC is obviously the superior platform in every objective measure that you could possibly make, and we're going to talk about that in today's video, the 10-year anniversary to the date from when I made my how to win a PC versus console debate video in argument for the console side. Now, a lot has changed since then. Back then I was stupid though, like I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about, but at least in 2015, there were some things you could talk about as to why console would be a preferred platform over PC, but in 2025, there are zero reasons to play on a console over PC. So in today's video, we're going to explore all that, and the way that it's going to work is that I'm going to present the 5 strongest arguments in favor of PC, and then also go over the 5 strongest arguments that most console gamers use to talk about why console is better than PC, and refute every single one of them. So let's begin with the first reason why PC is better than console, and it's the most important thing when we're talking about gaming platforms. It's the actual games themselves. PC has much more games to offer. It has more games than the Xbox Series X, PS5, and Nintendo Switch put together. Even times it by 10, and PC will still have way more games. And that's because of the fact that there is no such thing as a PC 1 or a PC 2. Like, the PC is just PC. It always has been, always will be. So there are games that came out in the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s that you can still play and still run on modern machines. Compare that to the consoles where, well, it's only a certain number of games that Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo have decided are cross-compatible or backwards compatible on their new system. For example, with the PS5, it's compatible with pretty much all the PS4 games, but it has no backwards compatibility with PS3 games, or PS2 or PS1 games. There are a few PS2 games that you can run on the PS5, but that's a select few games compared to the vast library that the PS2 had. And even if you look at the backwards compatibility for the Xbox console, yeah, it's compatible with pretty much all the Xbox One games aside from the Kinect ones, but the 360 and original Xbox backwards compatibility, there are a lot of games that were simply just not included in the backwards compatibility program, so therefore you cannot play on an Xbox, and PC is the only way to play certain games that were released during the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s, either through officially, like buying it from Steam, or through emulation. So any way you slice it, there's just so much more for you to experience on PC than any individual console, and even all the consoles put together, that when we're talking about a debate between different gaming platforms, having the most amount of games to play is definitely one of the biggest factors that makes PC better than consoles. So the second reason why PC is better than console is game performance. So you have it's a lot better now on the PS5 and Series X compared to the previous generation with the PS4 and Xbox One, where pretty much all the big releases were locked at 30 frames per second, which some people will still say that it's not a big deal, the difference between 30 FPS. The human eye can't see that. Anyone who honestly, genuinely believes that or think that that's true is just beyond helping and cannot be reasoned with at all, so I'm not even going to focus on that. Yeah, it's just an obvious fact that 60 is much better than 30, and even going beyond that, 120 is a lot better than 60. Well, the thing is with the consoles is that most of the time you don't have an option to go to 60. There are some games that have a performance mode, which that makes it a little bit better than the last generation where it was pretty much 30 FPS or nothing, at least, okay, you can have the option of playing at, let's say, 1440p 60 frames instead of being locked at 4K 30, but there's still a lot of games that don't offer a performance mode option, and 30 FPS is the only way that you can experience the game on console. But with PC, on the other hand, the vast majority of games that you can play on PC have very extensive graphic settings that you can customize to your liking and to your preferences. Like, if you're someone that values performance above all else, you can run the game on, like, the lowest possible resolution and textures and be able to get, like, 200 FPS. Or, you're someone that maybe wants a little bit of a balance. Like, you can run the game at 120 FPS if you go, like, medium settings, but if you want to go high settings and run the game at, like, 90 FPS, you can do that. Like, there's just so much more options, and that makes it so much of a better experience because of the freedom that it allows you to have. It really feels like a personal gaming experience. You know, PC stands for personal computer, and you really can personalize things to your own liking and not basically whatever Sony and Microsoft tells you what your experience has to be. Like me personally, I have a PC that would easily destroy a PS5 and Series X. I can max pretty much every game that I want out and run it at a very high frame rate and resolution. But on the other hand, like if I didn't have as much of a powerful PC and it was maybe more on par with the PS5 and Series X, I would much rather have my game run at lower quality textures and maybe a low resolution if it means I get to have an overall more smooth and enjoyable gaming experience by running it at a higher frame rate. So that is another huge benefit of PC gaming that kind of turned me away from the console and brought me to PC, and I never looked back in like almost 10 years now, since not too long after I made that original video. And the third major benefit of PC gaming, we talked about a little bit earlier, is emulation. When it comes to game preservation and keeping games alive, very often a game is delisted, the licensing expires, or whatever happens, and it is kind of just lost in time forever. This is what has happened a lot with older games over the years. Thankfully, though, with emulation on PC, it's helped a lot in terms of preserving games and keeping them alive and keeping them playable in 2025. And it's also cheaper and more cost-effective to just download the games off an emulator than to buy them on the original hardware and spend a fortune on eBay, wherever they sell retro games. I'd say the fourth major benefit of PC over console is the Steam platform. It has all the features that PlayStation Network and Xbox Live have, while it costs absolutely nothing in order to use it. There are much more games available on Steam. There are deeper discounts available on Steam compared to the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. Those Steam holiday sales and summer sales go crazy. Certain games have mods built into Steam through the Steam Workshop, and they're so easy to install and add so much value to the experience compared to the console version. There's just so many key benefits of Steam that really make it synonymous with the entire PC gaming experience. Like playing on PC without Steam just doesn't feel right. It's a huge part of why PC is such a great platform to begin with. Steam definitely played a pivotal role for that. And the final reason why PC is better than console is a very simple one. It's the fact that it's a PC, which means you can do so much more than gaming. And, you know, gaming consoles also allow you to stream stuff. You know, you have all the different apps and you can listen to music on Spotify. But with a PC, you can edit videos, you can, you know, pay your bills, do all these different things that you, I guess, technically can, on a console by using the shitty web browser, but yeah, it's definitely, if you actually want to get shit done, outside of just playing video games, a PC is a very useful thing to have. Most people have a PC, whether it's a desktop or a laptop, it's something that everyone needs. So the value proposition is very simple, because even if you're maybe spending a few $100s more upfront on buying a pre-built PC, you are still getting more value since you're killing two birds with one stone. You got your machine for gaming, and you have your machine for doing literally everything else in life. So those are the 5 reasons, the 5 most important reasons why PC is better than console. Then we're going to go over the 5 most common arguments I hear that console gamers like to use that, you know, explain why console gaming is actually better than PC. So the first one is simplicity. this is a stupid argument these days, because the thing is, oh, because PC is so complicated, and, you know, you have to do all these different things in order to get games running on a PC, while console, you just put the game in, and you start it, and it's that simple. Well, it really isn't anymore, because, you know, back in the day with consoles, you used to have the discs, where you put the disc in and it started immediately. You didn't have to install it, you didn't have to wait for it to download, because now everything is downloaded through the internet, even physical games. So that, you know, used to be one thing that was a huge benefit of console gaming, but no longer really is. And as far as, like, troubleshooting and as far as having issues with PC games, I'd say 95% of the time, when I have a problem running a game on PC, it's not a modern game or a newer game, it's an older game that's, like, maybe from the 2000s or the early to mid-2010s that I wouldn't even be able to run on a modern console anyway, because it's most likely from, like, the 7th generation of console era, where it's not even backwards compatible. And even if it is, I get so much better frame rate and fidelity on the PC version than I would trying to play the 360 or PS3 version of the same game. And it really is easy to resolve issues that do come up. If you just go on Google and type in the exact problem you have, and you have half a brain, you can easily figure it out, and it's not going to take you very long to resolve whatever issue you're having. So the simplicity argument no longer works. The comfort argument, the fact that it's just more comfortable for a console, you know, to just have it with a controller in your hand, sitting on the couch, and having, you know, the game on the TV instead of, you know, being on a desk and a keyboard and mouse. There's a couple of things. First of all, there's big picture mode on Steam. That is a thing where you can literally play on your TV, on your living room, and it's set up where it has a similar interface to a console. And it really isn't any different if that's what you want out of your experience. You can do that on PC as well. All you have to do is just plug your HDMI cord into the TV instead of into your monitor, and you have your PC on your TV. And you can definitely sit on your couch and play it if you want to. People act like it's just a thing that cannot be done. It is not possible on PC, but that's just an ignorant and stupid mentality that people have, because people are stuck in the past of floppy disks and PCs being like this giant fucking thing that is, like, really hard to set up and, you know, not comfortable to play on. But it really, it's been pretty much the same in terms of, you know, ease of use compared to a console. So that's not really an argument that holds up either. And then what other arguments they have? Well, the third argument, I guess, would be the online itself being better. Like, PlayStation Network and Xbox Live are such amazing online services that are worth the paid online and are better than what you get on PC. Now, that's not really an argument that I hear as much anymore, because I think more and more people are recognizing that it's a dumb-ass argument to make, for a couple reasons. One, you have Xbox Live on PC, and it's 100% free. There is no Xbox Live Gold requirement. There's no paid online. That in order for you to get on the Xbox app on PC, to start a party chat with your friends, to do, like, everything that you can do on Xbox Live on the console, you can do on PC without any subscription being required. That's one thing. Second of all, like, yeah, Steam is an amazing service that is definitely on par, if not better, in terms of features and the refund policy and everything else just being so much better than what you get out of the console services. And also, I feel like these days, most console gamers, if maybe not most, at least half of them, when they're playing on PlayStation or Xbox, a lot of the time they're on Discord calls instead of actually using the built-in game chat service that their console actually has. And Discord obviously is a service that originated on PC. And you're going to use Discord anyway because of the fact that crossplay is more and more of a prevalent thing. Most people play with friends that are on different platforms and not playing all the same system. So Discord is such a prevalent thing that people are using on console that it's kind of like, okay, what are you paying for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold? Just to be able to play online? But PC has no such requirement. Which brings me into affordability as the fourth main argument that console gamers use to argue that console's better than PC. Well, in terms of affordability, yeah, you are going to spend, like I said, maybe a few hundred, depending on what you want out of your experience. If you want a system that's literally on par, like has the same technical capabilities as a PS5 and Series X, yeah, you'll pay maybe like a couple $100s more than that console. But with the base price of an annual subscription for Xbox Live Gold, or whatever it's called now, the Game Pass Basic, whatever it is, you know, like the most low-end tier of the paid online for the Xbox console, and PlayStation Plus, like the least amount you're going to spend in a year is $80 a year now. It used to be $60, and then they just kept increasing it, and now it's about $80. So over a 5-year period, you're going to be spending an extra $400 just to be able to play games online. Now, some people will be, well, what about all these games that are included with Game Pass? What about all these games that are included with PlayStation Plus, with, like, the basic version of it? There's still some games there that you get for free. Well, if we're talking about free games, PC definitely has all those consoles put together, beaten, and without you having to pay anything for it. You could call it piracy if you want, you know, talking about emulation and stuff like that. But, yeah, if you're going to have a dick measuring contest about how many games you get included, you know, with your system, PC will always have the bigger side. And you don't have to keep paying a subscription in order to have access to those games and to be able to continue playing them. That's the other thing. So if you spend, like, $1,000 on a PC instead of a $500, $600 console, well, guess what? You, at the very least, over that 5-year period, are going to break even compared to buying the console because of the fact that paid online does not exist in any way or form on PC. I personally spent a lot more money on my PC, but that was a personal choice. I could have gotten a lot less, could have spent a lot less, and still get equal performance to that of a current-gen console. So when you really break down the numbers, when you really do the math, the affordability argument also doesn't hold up, especially with consoles significantly increasing in price compared to the previous couple of generations. And then the final argument that console gamers use, but not so much anymore because it really can't be used at all in 2025, exclusives. That's the thing that people talk about the most when talking about which platform is better than the other. I mean, if you're a Nintendo console fanboy, you can use that argument because those are legitimate exclusives that you can't play anywhere else. But as far as Microsoft first-party exclusives, Xbox exclusives, they are all available day one on PC. So if you're an Xbox gamer, you can't try to argue exclusives over the PC because we all have the same games. And even with PlayStation now, you know, they have a little bit of a different approach, but ultimately, when it's all said and done, all the big first-party games on the PlayStation 5 inevitably end up on PC as well. So, exclusives, really? I mean, if we're, like I said, this is a PC versus console debate. If you want to have an Xbox versus PlayStation debate, be my guest, try to argue which games are better, but PC, you get all those games combined. So even like if you go back to the affordability argument and, you know, which is a better value, well, you essentially get an Xbox and a PlayStation 5 combined these days when you get a PC because all the games inevitably get on PC and they're not exclusive to the console anymore. While PC actually has exclusive games that do not exist on the console. Games like Escape from Tarkov, Counter-Strike 2, World of Warcraft. I mean, I could go on and on about games that are on PC only and will probably never come to console, but you know what I mean. Like, there are so many games out there, especially from indie developers that are just getting started that don't have the resources to be able to make the game multi-platform. A lot of the biggest, most innovative games that have come out over the last 15 or so years started out on PC. Games like Minecraft and Battlefield, Call of Duty, all started off on PC before they ever reached the consoles. So, yeah, there's a lot of innovation and a lot of influence that the PC gaming market has on the overall video game industry that I would argue is more profound than what we've been getting from the consoles in the past couple of decades. So PC is just clearly the superior platform over console. There is no reasonable human being that can try to make a compelling argument to say that console is better than PC and has anything really of value to offer over the PC. Just an old and antiquated technology that no longer serves a functional purpose. That's what consoles are. There's really no reason for them to exist anymore. It sounds harsh and I sound like an elitist or whatever, but it is just the truth at this point. There is no denying it. So I'm very happy that I made the jump from console to PC. It's made my gaming experiences so much better and so much more compelling that I think anyone at this point that has not yet made the jump really should consider doing it because it's just way better and on a whole nother level compared to what you would get these days out of a console.